All right. I was reminded of this story because an old senior NCO, Master Sergeant that I worked with in the maintenance squadron in support at Phase, I'm really pinpointing the location for some reason, but his name was Sergeant Ennis. He liked a few of my videos I posted yesterday, and I had completely forgotten about the story, and it was one of the greatest things that have happened to me in my Air Force career. So, this is how it goes. I'm trying to think of a way to begin this without just like going, and then, weave, weaving back to it. But I worked a second shift, so 3 to 11, at the Phase hangar as the support liaison for 4 years, from 2015 to 2019 at Barstow Air Force Base in Louisiana. I lived in this little apartment complex right off base. So I am, in the middle of my sleep. But you have to think, second shift, a lot goes on at the beginning of the day. Most people's days start off, they wake up at 6, they get to work by 7:30, 8 o'clock, whatever, maybe 9 to 5. For 4 years, I didn't have that luxury. My work shift was 3 to 11. So I didn't wake up until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That morning, however, I wake up, my alarm clock goes off. So I wake up at 1, my alarm clock, I usually set my alarm clock for like 12:45. So I'm like getting up like by 1 o'clock. So 12:45 goes off. It was a Lady Gaga song, The Cure, because I liked the way it sounded. It was like da 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 da. It was like a perfect alarm clock sound. So my alarm clock goes off, and the first thing I do, because I'm a person, is I look at my phone. I'm not even lying. I have 25 notifications. I mean, it is Sergeant Ennis, my supervisor, Sergeant Warner, flight leadership. I mean, everybody under the sun. And the first thing I think is, oh my God, I accidentally sent a nude out to somebody important. And then I was like, oh my God, don't panic, don't panic. I'm in the throes of mental health, like, craziness at that time. This is, I want to say, early 2018. It was either late 2017 or 2018. So I'm thinking that I sent my nudes out to somebody important by accident. That wasn't the case. So they're like, get to work now, get to work now, get to work now. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. So I remember I didn't even shave that morning. So I had like stubble. I throw on my uniform. Lo and behold, I get to work. Somebody got murdered at my apartment complex, and everybody thought it was me because they didn't hear from me. So the entire time I'm in my dream sleep and I'm having my nice little dreams about squirrels and birds, everybody thought I got murdered. But the reason I bring up Sergeant Ennis is because Sergeant Ennis told me how this guy got murdered, because Sergeant Ennis' side hustle was he was one of those people that got to see like the coroners, kind of, I think that's the name of it, where he got to see what the dead body looked like. It was chopped up into itty bitty pieces and it got thrown in a dumpster. So somebody was throwing out their trash and they saw this dead body chopped up into itty bitty pieces and all of this blood everywhere. Funny thing though, that night, probably after that happened, I threw out my trash. So I threw garbage on a chopped up dead man. And anyway, this man died because it was like sort of like mafia-esque the way he died. Obviously he got chopped up into itty bitty pieces. It was like somebody slept with somebody's girl, not in my apartment, bitch, chopped him up. I mean, it was like, it was like Yuri dreams of sushi up in my bed. Fucking got chopped up. But this is why I got in trouble. So I got in trouble because I always make jokes about everything. And it wasn't even like one of my best jokes. I just remember after Sergeant Ennis told me that this body got chopped up into itty bitty pieces, before I left work that night, or maybe I was already back in my apartment, I made a Facebook status that went something like this. I was like, I just found out that this guy in my apartment complex got chopped up into itty bitty pieces. I was like talking about how horrendous it was, how gory it was, the blood. I made a joke like that I threw my trash on it by accident or whatever. And then I said, well, hey, at least he doesn't have to go to work tomorrow. You know, like I made a joke like that. Well, because I'm also so open with my mental health struggles, everybody assumed I was suicidal. So I ended up getting in trouble. So in the span of not even 24 hours, it went from like, oh my God, we thought Russ died. We thought he was the guy that got chopped up, to I'm getting threatened with an LOR in the first sergeant's office because of my inappropriate joke I made. But this is where the thing got funny. I was like, it's obviously a joke. So I pulled up my Facebook account and I was like, this is evidence that everything I post is unserious. So we out loud start going through and reading my Facebook status. It was the best, like, experience I think I've had in the Air Force, because I don't know if you guys remember Sergeant Hagar. Sergeant Hagar was in there. He could not contain himself. All professionalism gone. He could not stop laughing. Sergeant Warner, if you guys remember Sergeant Warner, completely unserious. He couldn't stop laughing. Sergeant Sells, she was so serious for like 5 minutes because she was like, this is very serious, inappropriate what you're doing. And then we start reading all of my Facebook statuses. And if you guys like remember me in my Facebook Prime when I was in the military, all of the stuff that I would post and joke about, and it was just like, that was my thing I like to do, was I would write jokes and I would write these elaborate stories and things, and we were reading them out loud in the first sergeant's office. So in the span of 24 hours, everybody thought I got murdered and chopped up into itty-bitty pieces. I was being threatened with an LOR, and even possibly, because there was one thing, Sergeant Sells looked at me and she said, how do you think we should handle this? And I was like, I think everybody deserves a second chance. But then we started reading my Facebook posts, and she was like, well, how do I know this isn't going to happen again? Because you obviously love to just make jokes. And I was like, but I'm not hurting anybody. Anyway, I ended up winning everybody over because of my personality. And that's how I've been able to get through life. And that's how I was able to get through the military, because the military at first wasn't easy for somebody like me because I'm very silly, goofy, and unserious. But there is a time and a place. And my whole thing was, and this is the thing that won me over, we were going through my Facebook and I was like, where in any of these posts or videos am I wearing the uniform? I wasn't. When am I saying I'm affiliated with the military? I wasn't. That's how I ended up winning. So I stuck up for myself and everybody laughed. And if Sergeant Sells sees this, I hope she remembers it. I could call her right now and we could talk for an hour and a half. She's become a very close friend of mine. And she was a vital, vital, vital part in when I got med boarded from the military and helped me out. She was the best first sergeant I ever got to work under. Sergeant Ennis was a great, great, great senior NCO in support. Sergeant Warner was a great supervisor, but I've always found it funny how that 24 hours started with everybody freaking out because they thought I got chopped up into itty-bitty pieces. And then there was like, oh my God, Ross, we're so happy to see you. We didn't hear from you. We thought that you got chopped up into itty-bitty pieces. And then they saw me and they were like, yay. And then I made a joke about this guy getting murdered and that, oh my God, at least he doesn't have to go into work. And then everybody got mad at me. And for like a second, they were like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you planning on killing yourself? And then that lasted for like 3 seconds. And then everybody got mad at me because they said it was inappropriate. And then I got threatened with an LOR, possibly an Article 15. But then we went through, like I said, all of my recent Facebook posts, and you know I would be posting a lot, in the first sergeant's office, out loud. And if, like, I didn't have a good audience, like Sergeant Hagar, Sergeant Warner, Sergeant Sells, like, I broke her. She went from, like, first sergeant serious to, like, chuckling. I could have been so fucked. But, and that's all.